Well, hello everybody. This is John Tabor at UDS, and welcome to the Zero Plan webinar. Joining me today as panelists are Paul Schultz, Vice President of Field Services here at UDS, and Jeff Jacobs, CEO of Universal Lenders, creator of the Zero Plan. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm going to be, I want to introduce a couple other people that are going to be on today as well. I have some UDS regional managers that are on, and I just want to welcome them. Spiro Marangos, thank you for joining. Mike Wilson, Keith Janis, and Chris O'Quinn. So shout out to all of you guys. And just a couple of things I want to talk about before we get started today, just a couple of technical things. We will be using some video during the webinar today. And we can't control the bandwidth in which you are participating on. So if there are some buffering things going on, the audio should be fine because we're doing that from here. So just bear with that, and hopefully that won't happen. But if it does, the audio should be fine and shouldn't have any buffering at all.
And it'll get caught up quickly.
And also, I would appreciate if you have any questions or comments as we're going through this, please go ahead and speak up. It's going to be a little bit more of a discussion than a participation, and because of the video, for those of you who are in listen-only mode and don't have us up on your monitor, I would suggest you go ahead and do that. I do see, although there are only a couple of people that have it in that area. So with that, I'd like to get started, and we'll get going. And we'll get started with the video.
I'm Mark, an F&I training agent. Today, I'm at one of my dealerships to share with you how to use Zero Plan from Universal Lenders to sell more F&I products. Zero Plan allows us to sell more products with minimal down payment, 0% interest, no credit checks, and up to 36 months to pay. With pressure increasing on F&I income, Zero Plan provides a unique opportunity to drive additional dollars with your existing customers. Historically, dealers have been resistant to offer 0% payment plans to their customers. With high chargebacks, slow funding, short terms, and high fees, it's understandable why so many dealers have not embraced these products. Zero Plan addresses these concerns with 7-day funding, lower chargebacks, up to 36-month payment plans, and the most competitive fees in the industry. Today, I'm working with one of my F&I managers to see how we can implement Zero Plan in our process. Grant, how are you today?
Good. How you doing, Mark?
Doing well. Hey, I've been looking at the numbers, and it looks like you've been having a lot of success early on, but your cash deals are holding back your overall dollar per car. I wonder if you can tell me what it is about them that you're finding the most challenging.
When I show them the whole price, including the products, they never say yes. It's just so much easier to sell products as part of a monthly payment.
I agree. Let's talk about offering your cash customers monthly 0% interest, no credit checks, and up to 36 months to pay. With pressure increasing on F&I income, Zero Plan provides a unique opportunity to drive additional dollars with your existing customers. Historically, dealers have been resistant to offer 0% payment plans to their customers. With high chargebacks, slow funding, short terms, and high fees, it's understandable why so many dealers have not embraced these products. Zero Plan addresses these concerns with 7-day funding, lower chargebacks, up to 36-month payment plans, and the most competitive fees in the industry. Today, I'm working with one of my F&I managers to see how we can implement Zero Plan in our process. Grant, how are you today?
Good. How you doing, Mark?
Doing well. Hey, I've been looking at the numbers, and it looks like you've been having a lot of success early on, but your cash deals are holding back your overall dollar per car. I wonder if you can tell me what it is about them that you're finding the most challenging.
When I show them the whole price, including the products, they never say yes. It's just so much easier to sell products as part of a monthly payment.
I agree. Let's talk about offering your cash customers monthly payments. Zero Plan offers 36-month terms at 0%, so now you can offer monthly payments to everyone.
I've heard of Zero Plan, but I don't know much about it.
It's really easy. You collect 10% down, complete a simple finance contract, and you're funded in 7 days. Plus, you can finance other products in addition to just service contracts.
Is this only for cash deals, or can I use this when the bank caps me?
You can use it when the bank caps you. Remember, it's a completely separate transaction, and there's no approval process. You can use it for cash, finance, or lease customers. Really anyone you think might be attracted to 0% interest.
Why hasn't the dealership been using this before?
Well, with our old program, we had to wait to get paid, and it was complicated. We had high fees, frequent chargebacks. We just didn't think it was worth it. Zero Plan addresses these issues and makes it much.
This sounds like this can make me a lot of money. How do I capitalize on this?
Well, there are two types of opportunities. Customers that get capped by the bank or cash or lease. We know what to do with lender restrictions, but for cash or lease buyers who have a specific budget, you can change the conversation from dollars today to 0% dollars in the future. This means you sell more product and make more money. If you really want to be successful, you'll work this into your everyday process. The more frequently you use it, the more comfortable you'll become, the more products you'll sell. If you treat it as an afterthought, you won't see the results you want.
What are your best dealers doing?
Our best dealers know that Zero Plan is not just for the F&I office. It allows service advisors to sell service contracts at 0% interest. This gives us a great opportunity to sell to people coming into the service lane and to those who've recently paid for service out of pocket. We found success calling owners who didn't have a service contract after a trip to the service department that cost more than they anticipated. It's important to make it a priority early in your presentation, display knowledge and confidence, and always remind the customer, this is 0%.
This is great, Mark. I'm going to bring this up in my next finance presentation.
To learn more about Zero Plan, speak with your dealer rep or visit www.zeroplan.com.
Well, we're going to learn a little bit more about Zero Plan right now. I think that's a great video. If you're at a Volvo store, I hope your traffic's a little better than it was at that store. But some features I want to review, and then Paul and Jeff, I want to talk about it a little bit. But, you know, in the video, some of the things that we just heard were the funds within 7 days, which is a big deal. And that's a lot faster than most others out there, if not all others out there for sure. There's no profit limitation, all the low cancellation rate. We'll talk about that in a second. Most products are eligible, which is somewhat new. There have been, a lot of people think that there's limited there, so we're going to talk about that as it pertains to UDS. Finance on multiple products on one contract through F&I Express, and later in the webinar we're going to talk about that. I really think that's a feature that is really something, because being able to do multiple products for multiple providers on one contract gives you a lot of flexibility in what you can do. Up to 36 months to pay, no application required. Everyone's improved, no interest. It's principal only and installment payments. Paul, Jeff, what I'd like to do now is maybe, we saw a couple of things brought up in the video, certainly cash customers, lease customers, maybe in the service lane, but let's talk a little bit more about how that might be. Oh, I just want to do a shout out to Robbie Robbins, who's joined us. Thank you, Robbie. I'm glad you're aboard. But let's talk about where and some strategies and how we can use the Zero Plan. One of the things we talked about, I'll kick it off a little, is we talked about when you have a cash customer and being able to offer products on a cash menu and being able to show a payment, a 0% interest payment on that menu, along with the total amount, gives you a little bit of an advantage, because people are used to buying products within a payment. But I'd love for you guys to, maybe Paul, if you could kick us off, and Jeff join in. What are some ideas, strategies on where the Zero Plan can be utilized?
Well, it's not infrequent that customers come in and unfortunately maybe they've leaked out to their credit union or somewhere else, so they come in with a draft. And so a lot of times we feel like we're shut out. Well, this opens that doorway, because not only do we have an opportunity to do a payment plan, but it's a 0% payment plan for a credit union member who is typically very rate conscious and very term conscious. So that opens the door for that. In addition, as you mentioned, John, the service drive and the other opportunities, but we just need to keep that on our windscreen, on our visual, on our windshield at all times, so that we're never overlooking the opportunity. What else do you have, Jeff, as far as from your side that you've seen?
Well, I think the most important thing is that most of the business managers and F&I managers today do a great job doing a menu presentation, building a package for the customer's needs. But when it comes to that cash customer, you're ready to move on to the finance customer. If you treat every cash customer as a revenue source and you build packages specifically for the cash customer, and you present it with the same diligence that you do with your finance customers, you're really going to move the needle, because in today's environment, there's only so much more you can squeeze out of those finance customers. The big opportunity today is with cash and lease customers, and being able to package together different products and present them in a menu display is really a big deal. So I would really suggest that's where you target your efforts.
Thanks, Jeff.
No question about it. And really, when it comes down to it, if we turn this around a little different direction, if you move your perception a little bit, I want to ask the question: who finances their car? What percentage of the people that walk through the front door finance their car? And the answer to that is 100%. Whatever bank or credit union or wherever they go, or whether they go to the Bank of Jeff, the Bank of John, the Bank of Spiro to find the money, everybody one way or another finances their car. It's just a matter of which way is best. And this is just another introduction to them as far as an alternative to finance these products and these opportunities. And secondary, Spiro just brought up secondary opportunities. Robbie, you can chime in on that, are just unbelievable, because those customers are typically capped out and they go from maybe a 16, 17, 18% rate down to zero. And Jeff, you report to the Bureau as well, don't you, for good payment history?
Yes, it's important, especially for the customers that are capped, for them to know that by using the zero plan along with their subprime lender, they're going to get 2 trades in the credit bureau. And if they pay both of their loans on time, they're going to find that that's going to increase their score doubly. So it's important to let them know that we report to the credit bureau for 2 reasons. One is because everybody's concerned about their credit score. But number 2 is we want them to make their payment, and that we want them to know there's a consequence for being late.
Well, I think that's a huge advantage. Plus, it also, probably speaks to why there's low cancellation. There's a certain real benefit to that. Jeff, can you just share with the participants why you feel there's such why the low cancellation rate with using the zero plan, and what you think the cause is of that?
Sure. Traditional providers in my businesses, they don't do any collection. When a customer goes 30 days delinquent, they cancel it, and the dealership finds out about it when they get their monthly statement. In our case, because my background as being a car dealer, I know how important it is to keep every dollar of profit that you create. So what we do is we not only send a payment or call a payment reminder in after 5 days, we send a late notice after 10 days, but the real collection effort happens at 20 days delinquency. We're going to send that customer a certified letter they have to sign for. We call it a cure letter. And that cure letter basically lays out to the customer that they owe this amount of money and they've got 10 days to pay, or they risk cancellation. At the same time we do send out that certified letter to the customer, we're contacting the dealership utilizing our Save a Deal program. We want you to be aware that your customers are approaching a cancellation point at 30 days, and we want to give you 10 days to reach out, because the dealership, the selling employee, has the relationship with the customer. Your phone call to that customer may make the difference in saving the deal. Oftentimes, a customer has a credit card that changed, maybe their bank account changed, maybe they're on some security hold, and our payments didn't go through. So it could be a very quick phone call to get this rectified and get them back on the path. We find when the dealership gets involved with our Save a Deal program that we're able to save up to 70% of all people that hit 20 days delinquent. And during that 10-day period, we do something that none of our competitors do. We're going to make at least 2 phone calls, as well as hoping that you'll make a phone call as a dealership. It's really for those reasons and the fact that we do report to the credit bureaus that you can expect lower cancellations, probably by about 50%.
Wow. That's an interesting thing, because a lot of the other programs that others have worked with in the past, that cancellation just happens. You don't know. It's just one of those things. And I think this is a great example, Jeff, of how Zero Plan is working for the customer, but also working for the F&I manager. So I really like that.
It's the only program I know of that really is engaged with the dealership at the initial level and at subsequent levels to make sure that the probability of that payout is close to 100%, which is really a big plus. And really, in the dealership, you need to be proactive about that. If you get one of those notices, get involved, call the customer. A lot of times it's just, we have customers come in, say, from SPP that say, I don't know why it was canceled. I have this little blip with my bank as far as something they messed up on my account, so the payment didn't go out. Next thing I know, I'm canceled. I want to reinstate. And sometimes that gets a little awkward, a little difficult. So by all means, this is just a great opportunity to be fully engaged with your clients and make sure that you go to payout.
We've got a question, Jeff, I'd like you to answer. When we were talking about showing up on a credit bureau, how does that show up? Does it show up, what type of an account does that show up as on a bureau?
It shows up as a consumer installment loan.
Okay.
So it's actually, we report, each month the number of payments made on time. So it looks just like a car installment contract.
That's great. One of the things also that I see here that I want to share, somebody wants to share something which is great, is that, the Fed just announced that they plan on at least one rate increase through the remainder of the year and possibly two, which means the economy's going great and they're trying to control inflation. So the news is going to be talking about interest rates. We're starting to hear in the F&I offices people bringing rate up a little more than they used to. Oh gosh, 4%. Why are you giving me such a high rate? Those kind of things are starting to happen. And as these rate increases trickle down through our lenders, this gives us a great, it'll be front of mind for a lot of consumers coming into dealerships. And this gives us a really good advantage with Zero Plan to reinforce the zero in the Zero Plan. So, people are going to be thinking about interest rates, and it's something that we should not take for granted, even though rates have been low, to talk about it, because it's a great point.
It was amazing to me when I was sitting in front of a cash buyer and they were no. And I said, oh, by the way, we have a 0%. They say 0% interest? Tell me more about that, and they'd sign up. It just kind of shocked me, actually. But it's definitely something you want to bring in front of all of your cash customers.
All right.
If I can add one thing with that, you've got two situations with the interest rates that are in the news today. Number one, with your prime buyers, historically 0% has been a closing tool to not only sell cars and refrigerators and mattresses, but it easily can sell you F&I products. But more importantly, as interest rates go up and credit tightens and your subprime or your challenged credit risks, not only it's harder to get advances on those customers, but also their rates are ticking up as well. To be able to get back to them and say, look, I've devised a payment program to reduce your overall monthly interest charge. And if you don't mind making two payments a month, I'm going to give you X number of dollars at this percent, but I'm going to do this bigger balance over here at 0%. And if you want to take us up on this, this is a way to save interest charges. And as the spread gets bigger, when subprime buyers are being contracted at 12, 13, 14, 18%, to show them 0% is just a great sales tool. Sorry, I took a little more time.
Well, I appreciate that, and I just want to touch on one more thing before we move on, because we do want to cover how the multiple products on one contract. But one of the things that I think is important with any tool that we have is that you've got to use it. If you don't use it, it gets it falls off. We forget about it, and things are. When I say it falls off, I'm talking about your skill level, Paul. Jeez, and so I want to ask you guys if you could just kind of give everybody who's listening some ideas on how you could include this or make it part of your process consistently.
One of the things you want to do is make sure everybody in the dealership is aware of it, And the other thing is practice it and get skilled at it. But certainly one of the paramount things, and I think you're going to touch on it, John, is building it into your menu and having a menu presentation capability that has the 0%, the zero plan built into it. Because per Jeff's point, what I've been reading, and anybody that reads the literature for the automotive community, 0% interest is going to be going away. And this is going to be the only resource for 0% interest as we get, especially after the first of the year. Most of the manufacturers are going to eliminate 0% interest from their conversations as far as advertising. So this is a great go-to.
Jeff, do you have anything to add on how to incorporate this into your process more often?
Well, it's really just recognizing this isn't for everybody, because if you can include your F&I products in the installment agreement for the vehicle, that's the best way to do. We're a closing tool for probably 50, 60, 70% of the people you talk to sell more product. And, you know, to go along with what's been said here is it has to be part of your regular pitch. You have to make sure you bring it up even for those sales where you don't think you have a shot, because it is a closing tool first, and that's always something you need to remember.
Okay, great, thanks. Well, I'm getting some questions on fees, so let's just move into it. And Paul or Jeff, would you like to walk us through the matrix on fees?
Paul, you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, the first thing that's up here is really just our guidelines, which set up how much down payment you need to collect and how many maximum installments you can offer the customer. I just want you to keep in mind two things about how you structure this type of deal. The more money down you get, the more likely you are to not have a cancellation. The numbers we're going to talk about here in this box are minimums. They're what you need to get for us to fund the transaction. But the more you can get, the better off you'll be in all cases. The same thing goes with maximum number of payments. While you may be able to be eligible for 36 monthly installments to offer the customer, the shorter the term, the faster the money comes in, the less likely you are to suffer a chargeback. So keep that in mind as I go through this. One of the differences that we have from our competitors is we will finance 12-month products. So anything from 12 to up to 24, you need to collect 20% down payment on the sale price, and you can offer up to 9 payments to that customer. Again, in these premium payment plan scenarios, typically what you can offer is approximately half or close to half of what the term of the policy is. So when you have a 24-month policy, you can offer up to 12 payments. You still need to collect 15% down. But the sweet spot in the industry today is really 36 months or longer. And in those cases, up to 48 months, you can offer 18 installments with a 10% down payment. Once you get your term from 48 months to 72 months, you can offer up to 24 monthly installments with a 10% down. In our newest, really the newest thing we announced about 3 months ago is that we now will let you offer up to 36 monthly installments once you get a 72-month or longer policy.
That's great. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but the more down payment you get and the shorter the term, the better the fee calculation is also, right?
Absolutely. It's very much, fees are very much like a loan. The longer it goes out and the higher the balance, the higher the fee will be.
And it's also security-wise. We really mentioned it earlier, but I want to drive that home is 10% or 15% or 20% is the minimum. Get more if you can, because it really secures the transaction much more effectively.
I've got a question for you, Jeff, brought up. If you're selling multiple products on one contract and you have a term of, say, 36 months on one product but 48 on another, do you go with the longest term available or the shortest, or how does that affect it?
We always look at the shortest term. So in the example you gave of a 36-month policy and a 48-month policy being financed, we're going to look for the guidelines to follow the 36-month, the shortest term of the two products. So you always want to make sure that you try to get your terms aligned so that you can offer the customer the maximum benefits.
Okay, great. Let's keep going. We're getting a little short on time, so click on here. I've included some forms, just pictures of your handouts. There are handouts in this, along with your invitation here. So these are just examples. They're hard to see, but I just wanted you to know that you have handouts available, and this is what they look like. So you want to go through a form or talk about it a little bit here, Paul? Or I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. That's what the contract looks like.
Yes, and if you're going to use the interactive form that Jeff has on his website, you're welcome to do that. It works very effectively. Or Zero Plan, actually, if it integrates with F&I Express, which is where we're going next, and it does F&I Express does all the work for you.
Yeah, let's, Jeff, if you don't have anything to add, we'll go right ahead and move into the F&I Express portion.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. I just put this slide up here. You know, I mean, the summary of it is pretty simple. I mean, you have the opportunity. You can log in once, rate and from different providers and finance all the policies used in the Zero Plan. It's one login, one screen, one place to E-rate and place the contract, and it's pretty simple. So let's talk about what F&I Express brings to the table and how this really kind of brings it together and makes it easier for you, the F&I manager, to do this. It's another video. So I think she does a good job. It's better than I can, and she types a whole lot faster. So we're going to walk you through it. So here we go.
Welcome to our streamlined e-contracting platform. In this section, we will be reviewing Zero Plan financing. To log into our website, go to www.fandixpress.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, click Login. Passwords will be provided to you by our support team when your dealership setup is complete and ready for training. The first page we'll begin at is your customer list. On the left-hand side, if you have a DMS system, you can pull a deal across by entering in the deal number. If you do not have a DMS system, on the left-hand side, click Deals and create a manual deal. Fill in all your customer information, and when ready, click Close. Put in your VIN number, and then click on Decode. This will bring up the make, model, and year of your vehicle. At this point, you can go through and fill in the rest of your vehicle information and move on to the finance information. Down at the bottom is a list of your providers. Click anywhere on the gray provider bar and add product. Notice that information is now highlighted in red. This is mandatory information that needs to be in place for you to be able to move forward. Verify all information is correct, and when ready, click Get Rate. Choose your product from the drop-down and click Save. You can now filter out your product and click Save Selected Rate. In the top right-hand corner is a DC box. This is your dealer cost checkbox. This shows you dealer costs compared to retail rates, and on this page you can adjust the retail accordingly, or we have the ability on our end to add a markup or a set rate if you would like it to be pre-programmed. Also on this page, you can add other products by clicking on Add More Products. When ready, click Finalize and Print. Adding additional products through other providers, simply click on the next gray provider bar and click Add Product. Again, this will highlight information in red and give you red action circles. Once verifying all information is in place, click Get Rate. Choose your product from the drop-down and add product. You can now choose your term and click Save Selected Rate. Here, we will show you dealer costs compared to retail, and we will add a markup. When ready, we're going to click Finalize and Print. We now have two products ready to be financed. Click on the Finance button on the bottom right-hand side, check off all products you want to finance, and fill in all financing information. To view your Zero Plan retailer fees, simply click on Show Dealer Costs. When ready, click Finance. Our PDF is now available to view. In the upper right-hand corner, And you will now see that we have 3 copies of the contract. One for the customer, one for the dealer, universal contract.
Pretty easy.
Welcome to our streamlined e-contracting platform.
Oops. Let me get back in here. So, hold on a second. I don't know why I keep doing that.
Technical difficulties.
It's all right. It's not too bad. It's very, when you're looking at that demonstration, it's pretty straightforward and easy to operate. Green and red, green is go and red isn't. So, it's pretty straightforward. If you have not been through this, if you need some help with it, feel free to reach out to your regional manager and they can walk you through the whole deal. But I think the opportunity to be able to do multiple products on a single contract when it's that easy through F&I Express gives you a big advantage.
One of the questions that typically comes up for me is, I don't know where does it show up? Well, until you hit the PDF and print the contract, the finance button will not show up on the bottom. Once you do, it immediately pops up, and you'll have a couple other buttons as well. Additionally, Vision Menu does integrate with the Zero Plan. Is that correct, Jeff?
Yes, Vision Menu and Menu Metric.
Okay, so those are opportunities that you can use with the Zero Plan as well. So, like I said, the biggest question I get is, where's that button? And so until you hit the PDF and print the contract, or at least pull it up, it won't populate that button because it doesn't know that you actually have closed on a contract. So that is one check-off box that you want to go into. And if you do get involved with sometimes multiple contracts, slow down your system. If you do get into a situation where for some reason it won't move forward, just save the deal, go back into it, reopen it, and you're going to be back in business because sometimes your computer just gets bogged down with it.
Okay, if anybody has any questions or comments, this would be a good time to speak up and ask. We might have time for one or two if you have them.
A couple of things. One other thing I can bring up is multiple customers in your office. If you have somebody that's taking delivery, the wife is getting a new vehicle and the husband's with her and he obviously has a car as well, one of the things I would not miss the opportunity to ask them, especially if they get ancillary products for the wife, ask about, well, the husband, do you have these on your car? Doesn't it look like it might make sense to get these on your car? If he says yes, but we're tapped as far as the expense of this car, bring the Zero Plan up and offer the opportunity, if you have it, to sell these ancillary products after the fact, like you would out of the service drive. The best part about it is you don't have to go to the service drive to find the customer.
Excellent idea. I like it.
Build it into your menu.
Yes, I think putting it into your menu is an important piece and something that, whenever we're talking to a cash or lease customer, to include it, either, like Jeff said, it's always better to put it in there if we can, and if we can't, show it. Because people do like that option of a 0% interest. I know that I can speak for myself when I'm purchasing something. If there's a 0% finance option for 12 months or 6 months, I'm in. Why not? So it works. I just want to comment that today is the highest participant rate we've had for any of our webinars. So thank you all for joining.
Randy's birthday.
And so. Randy's birthday today?
Yeah, what a great birthday gift.
Yeah, well, that's a good birthday present for Randy. It's his birthday today. But I just want to, so that shows that there's interest in this. And that's great. And I just challenge all of you to make it part of your process. Don't be afraid to use it. Get into F&I Express, see how it works. See how easy it is to utilize a Zero Plan. And the good news is, if you do, you'll make a little more dough.
Absolutely.
Hey, John, can I add something? This is Jeff.
Sure.
If any of your dealerships would like to have a dealership-only webinar from us for training, whatever it might be, we're willing to do that. Just they can reach out to us directly or through you. We'll be glad to do a training webinar for the F&I staff and the accounting staff at any dealership.
That's great, Jeff. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you. And for the UDS regional managers that are on, don't be afraid to bring that up and let them know so that if they're interested, we can make that happen.
And be a hero. Use Zero.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I don't know if I'd use that, Jeff, but you know, it's not bad.
I think it's been trademarked already.
Well, thanks for joining everybody today.